He's always pissy and a bit bitchy, 'cause he is bloated from soy. He's a soy boy, he's so annoyed.
Hey guys, Soy Boy Destroyer here, ready to drop a big ol' red pill. We all know the saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Well, it's no secret that when it comes to politics, this is often the case. Think of the most awful dictatorships that have arisen throughout history. Many of them were enabled to commit the atrocities that they did because people believed that those dictatorships could bring the utopia that they promised. Communist dictators were able to come to power due to the promotion of Karl Marx's utopian vision in which all were equal. But if you've read Animal Farm, you'll know it didn't end up that way. Similarly, Hitler was able to commit the Holocaust because he sold a vision of a greater Germany, which he claimed Jewish people were an obstacle to. Even if we look at the world today, there are many examples of this same process playing out. Even in the democratic Western world, politicians regularly claim to care about their citizens, but then enact repressive laws which do more harm than good. Like I said at the outset, we all know the saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. In this case, we're quite literally forced to drive down a road to hell, wrapped in what I like to call the red tape of bureaucratic regulations, or as it's more commonly known, a seatbelt. This may come as a surprise to you, but it certainly didn't for me. When I first got in a car at the age of 2, I was shocked that I had to wear a seatbelt. You are forced to bind yourself against the seat, and the government tells you that this is for your protection? The worst thing is, the thought of questioning the government about this has probably never crossed your mind. How crazy is that? Let's talk about how this happened. The government wants you to be complacent, so they try to characterize certain movements as absurd and harmful. They have criticized child labor as being harmful to the child, in spite of the fact that many jobs are already bad for their workers, and in spite of the fact that some jobs can be done by kids without harming them at all. The government has branded a number of whistleblowers as terrorists and national security threats just because those whistleblowers just so happen to compromise the integrity of the government. They have even gone so far as to criminalize certain movements. In the past, the government took a number of steps to kill off civil rights leaders and criminalize their movement for racial justice. Today, they've decided that certain movements that question the mainstream COVID narrative should be cracked down on, mainly using mandates and lockdowns. Some people recognize the government's wrongdoing, but other times they actually side with the government and say that we should crack down on perfectly legitimate movements. This is exactly what we usually see when it comes to seatbelts. The fact of the matter is that we are strangled by seatbelts when we drive, yet nobody is allowed to question the fact that they're mandated. We were born into a prison and told that this is what normalcy was. The reason that you may have questioned something like COVID lockdowns, but never seatbelts, is because the government has put so much effort into normalizing their abhorrent rules for seatbelts. Plenty of people have rejected the notion of face masks as being the new normal, but are happy with the old normal of seatbelts, even though in both of these cases, their freedoms are restricted. Believe it or not, there was in fact a time when most Americans did not wear seatbelts, and the laws mandating that they did so were met with a firm backlash. And why not? After all, assuming that they do in fact work, the only person who would be harmed for not using them would be the person whose choice it was to not use them. This is far less severe than the claims which the same political establishment that upholds seatbelts makes about the necessity of combating coronavirus, which they claim can spread to other people. Yet the same people who proudly proclaim themselves free thinkers for refusing to wear masks or believing in the Illuminati don't even think to question seatbelts. And yes, you absolutely can. No, you are not defending your freedoms by refusing to wear a mask. Your freedoms died long ago the day you chose security over liberty by binding yourself to your seat while you drove in your car. Your car! a symbol of freedom and opportunity, something which gives you the ability to go wherever you want, whenever you want, ruined by regulations and red tape. The American dream has become the American nightmare. Anyway, guys, that's it for now. Stay red-pilled and go destroy a local soy boy for me. SBD out.